Hey, you. What's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Sharp of This History Book Theater. And so this story popped up a couple days ago. And I've been meaning to talk about it because I'm a little saddened by it. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little saddened by the headline here. Star Wars, or Solo, a Star Wars story, is unlikely to get a sequel, says Jonathan Kasdan, who co-wrote the script with his father, Lawrence Kasdan, who wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi. It's a thing that it's bothersome. If I'm being honest here, it's a bothersome story to me, and the reason why it's a bothersome story is has everything to do with the fact that I don't like that the movie's not going to get a sequel. I'm not happy about that at all. I'm not happy about that one damn bit because I actually really enjoyed Solo. I just watched it again the other day, and I found myself as entertained as I was in the theater. And so when we're finding out that the movie's maybe not going to get a sequel, it unfortunately sucks. Now, it says here that John Kasdan, who co-wrote Star Wars, the Solo story, has revealed that it's unlikely the film will get a sequel, saying here, to be honest, I think it's a challenge has more to do with the foreign box office than the U.S. Personally, I think there are great Star Wars movies to be made that just don't need to cost quite so much. Hopefully that will be the trend in years to come, and maybe, just maybe, that trend will allow us, one way or another, to tell more stories with Alden, Junius, Amelia, and Donald. With those actors and Ron Howard, I would jump at the opportunity, given the way Hollywood and the culture at large seems to run away from anything labeled a disappointment. The odds seem like they're against that happening anytime soon, but I suppose Han wouldn't have it any other way. Now, again, this is a sad thing, in my opinion. It is. It's a sad thing. You want this movie to get a sequel. You should. I think as a Star Wars fan, I think this is going to be one that ultimately ends up doing well down the road, right? I think as it comes out on home video for purchase, the physical version of it in a couple days, and the digital copy is already available, I think a lot of people are going to be flocking to this thing in 6 months and going, it's actually not a bad movie. It's actually not a horrible film that deserves some kind of sequel. Now, my theory on it is this. Well, for one, real quick, before we jump into that here, I want to talk about the box office Mojo page for Solo, a Star Wars story, because I think this might give us a bit of indication as to what could lead us into a sequel, or at least the possibility of one. Now, according to this, the domestic total for the film was $213 million. And the foreign is $179 million, giving it a grand worldwide total of $392,949,158. So we're just rounding up $393 million. Now, the budget of the film, the production budget's rumored, after all the reshoots and everything else, $250 million. If only it was that cheap, right? $250 million is what they say is the rumored estimated budget. Now, again, a rumor that I've heard, a report that I've heard, is that the film needs to earn approximately $400 million in order to at least break even, right? In order to at least break even. Now, looking at this 393 here, that's it only needs like $7-8 million in home video sales in order to put it over that limit. And I guarantee it's going to make that in digital sales. And I guarantee it's going to pull in quite a bit in regards to the home video market. Now, it may not be right away. It may not be as soon as the film comes out, but I think as the year progresses, especially around the holiday season, Black Friday, things like that, I think we're going to see Solo get a lot more love in the home video market. And I think a lot of people are going to come around to it. I do wholeheartedly believe that, by the way. You may not, and that's totally fine. We can have a difference of opinion on this one, but I think the movie is a lot better than people give it credit for. And again, I think people were just out to shit on the film, and I think that clouded a lot of their judgment. That's my opinion. Again, we can agree and disagree. But when I look at the idea of Solo, when I look at the concept of what it is and what they accomplished and what I want to see from a sequel, for me, it all ties into Boba Fett. That's what it ties into. It ties into the Boba Fett story. So we know James Mangold was brought in to direct a Boba Fett movie, which made very little sense considering that Logan was like a Western, and Logan was really well received. And, you know, people thought it was like Best Picture 2017 worthy at least. And, you know, they would have preferred that director to tackle the Obi-Wan story, right? And I still actually think that James Mangold would be better suited for Obi-Wan than Boba Fett. But that being said, I really feel that there is a good chance that if they do the Boba Fett movie, that they're going to end up doing it with Han Solo. It's the only thing that I think would sell it. It would be like essentially a Han Solo 2 and a Boba Fett 1. And it would just be like the center film in a Han Solo trilogy and the first movie in a Boba Fett series, if they wanted to go that far, or if they just wanted to treat like Rogue One and give it a one-off sort of thing. And the reason why I say that, and I've talked about this before, but the reason why I bring it up is because I feel like Boba Fett needs to work with Han to understand how Han thinks in order to then be able to track him as he did in Empire Strikes Back. So I feel like that's going to be a big part of it. I feel like that's going to be a huge part of it, where it's all about, you know, the two of them teaming up, or, you know, the three of them really, Chewie and Han and Boba Fett and stuff. And I think that could be an interesting film that could tie into the grander narrative of a Solo trilogy, dealing with Crimson Dawn, dealing with, you know, Jabba the Hutt, getting more out of Emilia Clarke. I think it could open it up to a wider to a wider audience of people that'd be appreciative. It's going to be one of those ones that might have had a rocky start, but I think if they give it enough time, it will definitely find itself with that dedicated fan base. I mean, there are people out there that are dedicated to the prequels. They exist. They do. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. I know right now things are in turmoil, but I also feel that if they would have waited until December to release Solo, the movie would have done a lot better. If they would have pushed it to another time, instead of Memorial Day weekend, the movie would have done better. Deadpool taking $44 million out of that box office for its second weekend, definitely cut into Solo. Even Infinity War cut into Solo. A lot of things cut into Solo. Had the movie come out at a different time when it wasn't so packed of a box office, like, I don't know, like October or something, or it could have been April. It could have been any of those times. An off-season month would have been fine for Star Wars. The movie would have done better. We've seen this now. Billion-dollar movies have come out of February, March, April. February with this year with Black Panther. Last year, Disney's Beauty and the Beast in March was a billion-dollar movie. Fast and Furious 8 was a billion-dollar movie. That came out in April. We can see billion-dollar franchises drop at any point in time. Disney was just dying to get their hands on Memorial Day because that's what they wanted to do with Episode 8, and it just hasn't had a good run in the last couple of years. So the release date for Solo had, I think, more to do with the movie not doing well than the actual quality of the film itself. And look, I'm not going to deny that The Last Jedi had a big significant impact in that as well. All right, I'm not going to deny that The Last Jedi hatred had a big part of that, and there's no denying that. There's no walking away from that. Disney screwed the ball or screwed the pooch with that, and that's just the world we find ourselves living in right now. However, the way that I personally view it is that Solo could have done a lot better if it would have been at a different time. And so those are my thoughts on this one. Those are my thoughts, like for a potential sequel, for a better release time. You know, what are you thinking about this? If you've made it this far, type Solo in the chat so I know you guys made it. And then also, if you want to support the channel, be sure to toss it a thumbs up. Do that. Hit us up on Patreon. Support the channel that way. And also, you guys can just talk below, and I love to read what you guys have to say. Anyway, my name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is Three Buck Theater. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out. If you enjoyed this video, please consider becoming a patron today for just $1 per month over at patreon.com/mundanematt.